Chris Crock Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, and they're falling in line more and more. Cruz endorses Trump tonight as well, Ted Cruz. So there you go, little by little. Meantime, on the Chris Crock Show, we have this young lady, is 27 years old. She's been with the company in sales for 3 months. She works from home at software-type sales, something of that nature. And she and others get fired. She found out that she'd probably be next. They had a meeting scheduled with her that morning later after some of her other colleagues got fired. So she recorded it and gets all aggressive and bites back and all this stuff. Here's the last piece that I haven't played for you yet of her in this 9.5-minute video being fired. She records it. She gets feisty with him and such. And then she shares it on TikTok. She claims she never intended for her video to go viral. She recorded it so she could share what happened with her family and friends. That's why she put it on TikTok, so that she could share with her family and friends. She's lying. She's an absolute big fat liar. She acted out at her employer when they were firing her because she wanted to stick it to the man while becoming famous. Would you hire her? I would never hire this young woman. Because nobody should be recording the firing of anything if it's you getting fired. Unless somebody's physically attacking you, you want to document it, that's different. This is not that. Sure, it was offensive that two people that she's never met in her life were hired by her company or actually it was human resources with the company that did that. They fired her. Sure, it's not okay for her to be fired without her supervisor, talking to her, being there, perhaps. Sure, it may have been a little difficult and crass or something, but it doesn't matter. That's your employer. And we've all been fired, haven't we? Producer Garrett, you will get fired one of these days. She says, no. One day, you will join the club, my friend. It just happens. Sometimes it's not your fault. Sometimes it has nothing to do with you. Sometimes it's politics. Sometimes it's political atmosphere. You know what I mean? In the not meaning Republican Democrat, but just meaning the politics of the office. I don't fight back. I don't raise a stink. I might ask questions. I might get a little defensive because it's our human nature, especially if you're caught off guard, if you're caught off guard, you might be a little this or that. But usually I take it quite well. What am I going to do? Save my job by fighting with somebody? No. When I lost my job in Atlanta as a talk show host to Herman Cain, I'm proud of that now because everybody knows who he is. 999, if you recall that. I didn't freak out. I didn't flip out. My boss, they said, he was a little worried. I'm like, what do you mean? No, we talked for like an hour after that. We were at a coffee place. And we stayed. We're still friends to this day. He's a great guy. Great environment. Loved my job there. It's all good. Happens. And attacking your employer is horrible. These people who trash their former employers are really stupid to me because they're going to trash the next employer the same way. It's like an ex-girlfriend, or something like that, like mistreating an ex-girlfriend or whatever. Then you see, why would you want to date somebody that mistreats their ex-girlfriends when they're done with them, or their ex-boyfriends, whatever? You know what I'm saying? Why would you want to hire somebody who mistreats their employer when they let them go? Maybe she was let go for the right reasons. She just can't handle it. Let me finish this off here.
And my whole energy in life over the last 4 months to this job, and to be let go for no reason is like a huge slap in the face from a company that I really wanted to believe in. Do you guys even know like why, like who you're talking to each day? Like every single 10, 15 minutes, do you guys even know who you're talking to? Like why you're letting these people go when you don't even understand like the kind of work and everything that they've put in?
This is where she's like, I'm going to be an internet star. I'm attacking them. This is for the camera.
I hear you and what you're saying.
It just doesn't make it. It just doesn't make any sense that you guys have still not been able to give me a reason why I'm being let go.
You're fired because they want you to be fired. Take a hike. They don't owe you an answer. Get out of here. You're fired. That's it. My questions for you are: do you think it's okay to record yourself getting fired and then share it on social media with the public? And do you think it's okay to fight back when you get fired, or should you just listen, take in what they have to say, lament a little bit, and, move on? And would you hire somebody who records their firing and then gets defensive about it and starts to attack you kind of like this? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Come on. This woman is a clown to me, and she set them up. She's the company is named in there. She doesn't have take any pains to edit it out. So then somebody took that video and put the company's name on there and her name on there and posted it on Twitter, and it got like 900,000 views or something like that. The CEO has come out and said it's painful for him to watch. He's not saying she shouldn't have been fired. He's just saying that her supervisor should have been involved in the firing. That's all. So it's like what was that, Office Space, or what movie was that, where they hire some people that don't know you, don't even know your name or anything, and just keep firing you. They can fire people all day. Yeah, it's horrible. I mean, it's horrible, but I mean, it's funny because it's a movie that was funny. But I can't imagine anybody wanting to hire this clown. So do you think it's okay to record yourself, get fired, getting fired, and share it with on social media? Do you think it's okay to fight back when you get fired like she did? Or you just listen and take it like a man or a woman, whatever, you know what I mean? And would you hire this woman after she did this kind of a stunt? Would you hire somebody that does this? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Some of the people on social media said she was gaslit. No. Others said it's important to handle it with dignity, which she didn't. For me, you're never going to change their minds in a firing, dude. It's not going to happen. So I think, and seeking to genuinely understand when they're already firing you is really, to me, it's pretty ridiculous. I mean, I'm supposed to ask a few questions because I'm sure I do when it happens to me too. But this is obscene. This is stupid. You're not going to change their mind. No matter what you say or do is going to change. They've already made up their mind. They're executing the firing now. You're not convincing anybody anything. You can act a fool, or you can act like class on the way out and have a good reference and move on. In my business, and I think it's most like most business, the idiots in my business attack their employers and the trades and stuff. Like, you guys are stupid to do that. Stupidity. Unless you're going to sue them because they, physically assaulted you or actually discriminated you because of your race, your sex, or something that really is serious, I wouldn't be bringing any of this crap up. Move on. Move on. You make yourself look like a jerkity jerk. Not them. One more little piece on this is funny. Sometimes the Wall Street Journal that had this article today, sometimes even executives' messages to staff on other topics can be recorded and go viral. A chief executive of an office furniture company found this out last spring when she urged staff in a video call. This is great. Hold on. She urged staff in a video call to stay motivated and leave Pity City. I love that. Don't you like that? Stay motivated, guys. Stay frosty and leave Pity City. She later apologized to employees in the mail. For what? In the email. For what? What did you apologize for? Nobody should have a pity party. We use that language with ourselves, with each other, holding people accountable. You should not have a pity party. Oh, I can't say that anymore. Get out of here. If that CEO really wanted to win somebody like me over, you just say, well, I have nothing to apologize for. Nobody should live in Pity City. All right, coming up next. This is pretty amazing. 45% of 18 to 29-year-olds still live with their parents. And the hens on The View have comments. I'll play for you on this. And then also I'll ask you, do you think it's okay to live with your parents if you're working, saving, and contributing to the household while you save up to buy your first house or get financially strong? Is that okay? If you're 18 to 29 years of age, living at home, like if you're 28, 29 even, living at home? We'll get to that next on the Chris Crock Show, News Talk 820 WBAP. Okay, what do you think? Is it okay for people to live at home between the ages of 18 and 29, or should they get out of the house and get a job, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? This is what the hens on The View said, the leftist hens said about that. Yeah, right here.
This generation, in defense of Gen Z, they're not hitting the milestones the way every generation before them did. They're owning homes at a lower rate. This is wild. 45% of people between ages 18 to 29 still live with their parents. Yeah. They feel left behind by the economy, and they also see everybody trying to not age. So
please, get a job.
No, but they have jobs. No, they have to work multiple jobs.
There's a million job openings in this country.
Life is so
get a job.
They've also lived through a pandemic. They've lived through the worst of times. I'm raising 2 Gen Zers, so I want to just defend them a little bit. I think it's a little bit less than they're so afraid of getting older. I think they're unsure of the future. Yeah. I mean, my kids.
Well, none of us were sure of the future. We're never sure of the future.
But when you're that age, you don't realize that everybody was unsure about the future. Because I explain that to my children.
Okay, so I have a 17-year-old and a 20-year-old. My 20-year-old sent me a video, YouTube, that was sourced well. I watched it. It was 11 minutes. I'm like, oh, come on, 11 minutes. But it was about housing and how the young folk can't afford it and stuff. And, he's 20, he's in college. But I actually welcomed him and his future wife when they get married to live at our place for a year or so if they want to get on their feet. What married couple wants to live in their parents' house? But I'm also like, if you guys need it, I mean, dude, all I know is this. I did not live at home out of college. I could have if I didn't choose the career I had, and, which moved me all over the place. And I lived before I graduated high school or college, I got a job. And that launched my beginning of my career, which was very difficult and made crappy money. And the struggle that we go through was very real. So that's what Joy Behar is saying. But look at it from the other side of the coin. Housing is insane. And I know that housing has always been something I didn't get into it until I was in my late 20s. Boo-hoo, I could say. However, one of the smartest things one of my buddies did after he graduated was stay at home for 2-3 years and save up his money. And the funny thing is, he was a cop. How embarrassing would that be to be a cop and be living at home, But you know what? My friend bought a house that he rented. It's called a 2-flat in Chicago, so you got 2 levels. So he rented one level, and he lived in the other level. To this day, he probably still owns that house. It's probably worth 5 times what he paid for it. God bless the guy. Does it matter that he lived at home for 2-3 years afterwards? No. So I told my son, too, hey, live here if you want for a year or two. He ain't going to be a bum. He's not a bum now, and he ain't going to be a bum then. If you're a bum, throw him out. My mom told me one thing that I think is perfect, and then we'll go to your call at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Do you think it's okay to live with your parents if you're working, saving, and contributing to the household while you're saving up to buy your first house or getting financially strong while you're living at home? 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. My mom said when you graduate college, you're either going to be working full-time. When you graduate high school, you're going to work full-time or go to school full-time or do both, work in school. If you're not doing one of those, you're not going to work. You're not going to live here. Basically, you're not going to be a bum at my house. It was I never contemplated being a bum anyways, but it was clear. It was simple. And I got no problem out of college for a year or two living with us if it means he can save up his shekels and do well. He's a great saver. He wouldn't just be, sitting there doing nothing. So if they're doing nothing, throw them out of the house. John and McKinney, you're on News Talk 820 WBAP and 93.3 FM with the Chris Crock Show. Hello.
Hello. Yeah, I had a comment regarding the woman in the the exit view, if you will.
The one who got fired that was recording it and putting it on social media. Right. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Right. I guess my question is, are we certain that she was being fired and not being laid off? There's a huge difference.
Well, she was fired, according to her. Go ahead.
Okay.
But go ahead. But go ahead. What's the
fired? And I totally disagree with how she handled it. I mean, she can have her private conversation, whatever she wants to say when she's leaving, but at the end of the day, when you're being fired, you're supposed to have documentation as a company saved to explain, maybe not even explain to them, but you better have documentation that shows why you're firing someone. If you're laying them off, then in the background, the managers get together, they talk about, which people are the best people to keep with the company. We've got to downsize, our workforce, who are the lowest performing people, and you let them go, but you're laying them off. But if you're firing someone, they better have been doing, there better be a record of what they've done or haven't done that is leading them to that position of being fired.
Yeah, they're saying that they're firing people because their performance wasn't at the level they would like. And then she says, well, mine was. But look, the company has a right to say you're not at the right performance, and she has a right to say, I am. Go ahead, what? Go ahead, sir.
So I've been in sales for almost 45 years. And in sales, it's not how much you do. It's at the end of the day, how many sales did you make?
And she got none.
It sounds to me like she had a lot of busy work, but wasn't getting anything.
Yeah, she's like, I've been working so hard. I've been doing all the. And it's like you didn't land a sale.
I'm kind of surprised they didn't have documentation say, here's why we're letting you go.
They may have at the end of it or something, or send her a packet. I don't know. But the only thing the CEO of her company, said he was that was wrong in his opinion. Painful because managers should be involved, HR should be involved, but it shouldn't be outsourced to them. No employee should ever actually be surprised they weren't performing.
Agreed.
So I agree. But this, would you ever record it and save it and send it online, put it online?
I think it puts you in a bad light.
Would you hire this woman?
Sure. No.
Yeah, and I would never hire her. You too, right?
Oh yeah, I've been a director and a manager, people manager for sales for years at two majer companies in the U.S. I'm retired now.
And by the way, nobody's ever talked themselves out of getting fired in a room like that, right? Or in a.
No, that's not going to happen.
So really, we should just take it like a man or a woman, and just you can ask some questions to have an understanding. But
right, you can ask some questions, try to understand what you could do better, so that next time you won't make the same mistakes.
But leave. They want you to leave, so leave.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Appreciate your call, John. Thank you. I think I would hire him, but I would never hire that lady. All right, coming up next in the Chris Crock Show, we're going to get into, here we go. The majority of the most inclusive TV shows already canceled. Woke TV is dying. How many times do you and I go to a streaming service that we use, open it up, right, on your TV? And depending on what month it is it Gay Pride Month? Is it Black History Month? Is it, I don't know, what are the other ones that, where they hit you over the head with all this stuff? It's like, dude, relax, right? Indigenous Peoples Day. I'm sure they did something for that too. These super woke clown losers in L.A. Want to just fall down and worship at the altar of diversity by putting stuff on that they know nobody's going to watch. When you see like the LGBTQ whatever month or whatever, and they have it's like nobody's watching it. I told my wife, we're sitting here and I'm like, are you serious? It's a stupid section comes up and they have it right at the front. I said, are you kidding me? I said, I bet you gay people don't even watch this. They just want to watch good television like the rest of us. We don't care if somebody in a series is gay as long as the series is good. I just care about if it's good. Now, my wife and I like to, it's been a while since we've done this, but we like to take bets on who's going to be which person's going to be gay. Because there's always gay people, even when there's, it's like they're artificially inserting these diversity characters. So we're like, all right, which one? So sometimes we'll get it by the second episode. By the way, some of the shows that you and I have seen and liked, for example, in 6 Feet Under, I talked about that. We finished that for the second time about 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago. I don't know. Anyways, the two main characters that are gay are not actually both are straight in real life. So interesting, right? And that's because they're just playing a role. And that's fine as long as it's a good show. I don't care if somebody in there is gay or not. That's not what it's about. But see, the people that program this crap do think that's what it's all about, to the point where they're ruining their product so they can try to get us to see their virtue signal or to watch their garbage they put together. I don't think anybody watched this crap. I think they put it on there to virtue signal, to show how diverse and, equitable or equity, all that garbage is, that DEI crap. And nobody watches it. Well, let's look. One of the columnists at Breitbart writes, majority of most inclusive TV shows already canceled. And he's got a list of them. And I think it's wonderful. This is from the University of Southern California Annenberg Inclusion Initiative. That's funny. Their latest list of television's most inclusive show reveals that the majority of those shows are no longer on the air or have not been renewed. They blah blah blah. Here we go. It took over. They looked at over 560 series airing on broadcast, cable, and streaming, and they across 15 inclusion indicators. Isn't that funny? Oh, inclusion indicators. Oh, I'm getting tingly. All right. A troubling trend, Breitbart writes, emerges when looking at the inaugural list. A majority of the most inclusive shows that have already ended, been canceled, or are still in renewal limbo. Queen Sugar, never heard of it. The Baby, HBO, never heard of it. Have you heard of that? I'd never heard of it. I have HBO, I've never heard of it. Isn't that funny? I haven't. I've never heard of it. Naomi on CW, never heard of it. Canceled. All American Homecoming, CW, never heard of it. 20s, BET, canceled. Queens, ABC, canceled after one season. The Kings of Napa on OWN. Interesting, OWN has a bunch of shows, as does the CW, that have failed. Trying to program people's minds here, little kids' minds, or youngins' minds, right? The younger generation. 4400 on CW, canceled after one season. Sisters on BET, canceled. P-Valley, Stars, canceled. There's here's other ones that are canceled. Let's see. Of the top 10 streaming shows, 6 have been canceled, while 2 are limited series not expected to return. I'm not going to mention ones I don't even know what they are. But here we go. The Last Days of Ptolemy Gray on Apple TV, done. And here, this one I know, Max, which is HBO, Rap S-word with an exclamation mark instead of the I. I saw this and I'm like, who in God's name wants to watch this? I don't know what it is. I don't care. And this is stupid. And it annoys me to turn on my little HBO app and see these half-naked rap chicks and that up on there. I'm like, no one's watching this. Scroll. There's a bunch of ones that I've seen on both the months of, different, you got Gay Pride Month, Black History Month. I was like, get out of here. Stuff that nobody's watching. Nobody's going to watch. But they're like, look, behold, virtue signals that nobody watches. That's about it. There's other thing mentioned, but I don't even know what these ones are. I will say that I can think of off the top of my head. And by the way, let me ask you a question on this. Always like to do that. Have you watched any of these woke shows that networks and streaming services try to get you to watch? Have you watched any of them? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. They have like the LGBTQ channel, and it's like on Netflix or whatever. I'm like, no one's watching this. Nobody wants to see niche programming. In fact, most programming has gay characters in it anyways. Stupid. Anyways, so 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. If you watched any of these woke shows, network and streaming services try to get us to watch. Some of these are even offensive in the names. I was trying to remember, there was one more thing I wanted to mention about this to you, but no one's watching this garbage, and hard pass on all that. Absolutely not. Okay, scammers are coming out. Beware, as your pipes could burst. And by the way, I'm sitting on this right now. I looked in trepidation and fear. I went into this afternoon thinking about this. I went into my laundry room where 2 days ago, on Monday afternoon, I suppose, or 1 day ago, I guess, my wife and kids were trying to use the laundry machine, the washing machine, and it said insufficient water supply. I'm like, really? It's not even a year old yet. And I'm thinking, oh no. I said, it could be the pipes are frozen. That's not good. Well, I had the, it's on the external wall. I had the heater in the room, but it was blowing at the units, not behind the wall. So I'm like, that may not be enough. I may have had, and so I'm like, that's brand new area there. That was a brand new addition. So I moved stuff out of the way and put it behind, it's blowing behind there on the wall. And I would think by now the pipes would be frozen. That wall is hot for like 24 hours. And I looked down there dreadfully looking to see if there was any water coming down. None. So I'm going to really find out tomorrow afternoon, won't I? When everything's done being below freezing. Scams, if that does happen, to watch out for on that for you and me as pipes burst. So many of us think we might be set and fine. Indeed, we may not be. We're going to find out tomorrow. That plus, speaking of washing machines, did you hear what we're being asked by ERCOT not to use? Next. Well. Chris Crock Show News Talk 820 WBAP. At 10:48 p.m., why don't you know? Okay, this is insane. While I was telling you that my washing machine at home, I should say, wasn't working because it has insufficient water supply, as in maybe my pipes are froze, which is not funny for myself, I can tell you that, but I'm kind of thinking it should be okay, but we'll see. At the same time, your pipes may be freezing up. ERCOT is telling you, please don't use your washing machine to save electricity. Now, what I want to say in response to that is something I can't say on the radio. They can go do something. Actually, I'll tell you what, they can go take a crap in a lake. That's a good way of saying it. What do you say? Are you willing to not use your washing machine to appease ERCOT because, there's not enough sun shining or not enough wind blowing? We really, really do live in a third world country, don't we? In a third world state. I think we all need to come together and say, click, click, click. That's our new language. It's like we live in a sub-Saharan, or whatever you call it, a third world African dictatorship, not dictatorship, but like a third world African country where they lose power for, half the day. That's who we are now. Thank you, Governor Abbott and Republicans running our Texas state legislature. Thank you for selling us out. Now, that's so funny. Asking us not to use our washing machines as The weather tests the grid. This is a Newsweek, of all places. They were asked to avoid using large appliances, such as are asked to avoid using large appliances such as washing machines to conserve energy as frigid temperatures threaten our state's power grid. What a disgrace. Okay, in the meantime, what if your pipes do burst? What if, guess what? If you think you've made it out of the woodwork, you're not at all out of the woodwork until tomorrow when the temperatures are below freezing for a while. I will not be satisfied that I have my pipes are free and clear until probably Wednesday night. Because that gives it. If you look at your temperature, on your see if my official forecast of the Chris Crock show is my iPhone. And if I look at the temperature in my neck of the woods, it will be over 33 at noon, and it'll hit 39 for several hours after that, and then it won't go below freezing actually until let's see, probably 3 in the morning or something. I don't know. So it'll, I don't know, whatever. It's going to go above freezing by about noonish in my neck of the woods of DFW and stay that way till probably 1 or 2 in the morning. I have no idea. So that'll be it. You'll know and I'll know tomorrow night. So what about scams? Scams. 3 scams to watch out for if your pipes burst in the Texas freeze, says WFA TV Channel 8. Here's what they say. This is from the Better Business Bureau. If they require a significant deposit over 50% of the total estimate. Dude, I've never had a plumbing company that charges me up front. I have never had that happen. Personally, I would not give anything until the work's done. And if the company won't do that, then don't use the company. I don't know of a company that would charge me anything up front. That's reputable. Number 2, the homeowner is approached by a contractor who claims they have excess material left over from a nearby project. I mean, you stop right there. Yeah, great, thanks, take care. Get out of here. You know what my response is? Do you have a permit? I don't see your permit display. You can't go door to door. Please leave. And then I would call the non-emergency number for police department in my community there, and they'll be out in 2-3 minutes. I did that on a beautiful, beautiful young lady who was half naked during the summertime going door to door. I'm sure she was dressed that way so she could get people to buy whatever she was selling. And the cop talked to her for a long time, so long that I had to go and live my life and go. I drove by and I'm like, dang, she's still out there with him. So that tells me that she was definitely in some trouble. So, yeah, that's insane, dude. I would, no. And then number 3 is repairs on systems requiring specialized work. Plumbers, electricians, HVAC are done by an unlicensed individual. Dude, let me tell you what I learned about this. I had to fire contractors that were doing my kitchen remodel. And it was because they didn't do any of the stuff they promised to do with licensed electrician. They didn't pull any of the permits they promised they would do. We trusted them. And so I had my electrician, who I wanted to begin with, come over, and he said it wasn't a matter if there would be a fire, but when. And then the city agreed, and that was it. You broke everything, you're fired. And this guy tried to threaten me like, I wouldn't do that, dude. And I got a lawyer. Sent a demand letter to them, or sent a letter to say, if you have any questions or anything, you call me, not Croc. And that was that. It was the best amount of money I spent ever on something. The guy violated the contract. You put my family at risk of a fire. You can go take a crap in the lake. And then we hired the people I should have hired to begin with. So there you go, dude. Have them pull permits. If they're not pulling permits, I would not use them. There is almost nothing. There's so little things I can even think of. There's none off the top of my head that I can think of I would allow if it needs a permit that I would do without one. because they won't let something pass if it's bad, and they'll figure it out really fast. All right, and by the way, if you don't know where your water valve is to turn off for your at the street, dude, then you shouldn't be a homeowner. You better figure out real fast where the shutoff valve is for your water supply for your house. If I can do that, dude, you can do that. It ain't no difficult thing, because that's where you would shut off your water to your house. Then you're screwed if you have a burst pipe. I might be there tomorrow. We're going to find out.